This is SILL Talks, episode 21. Hello guys, welcome to the SILL Talks Podcast. I am your host, Egbeiyon Leonard. SILL Talks is that podcast dedicated to helping architects and creatives develop ways, strategies to build businesses that are profitable and sustainable. And today's episode is something very urgent. I see it as something that is very important to jump on and prepare us for the new year. I know everyone is trying to get in tune, making New Year resolutions, preparing for what is to come. And for Nigerians, for architects in Nigeria, it is a particularly interesting time, to be very honest. And that is because the new tax law takes effect from the 1st of January. And I thought to myself, there are internal changes we are making. Why not share this information with architects in Nigeria and see how everyone can get on board, make money, and do better? So this episode is titled Preparing for Nigeria's New Tax Regime as Architects. Let me first clarify something. This episode is not a tax episode, to be honest. We need to be clear on that. This is not a tax episode. If you came here expecting a breakdown of tax rates, filing deadlines, or legal clauses, my brother, that is not what we are doing today. What I'm talking about is how architects run their businesses and how Nigeria's new tax regime is going to force us to a level of maturity many of us have run away from for years. Most architects in Nigeria are not dishonest. To say the least. We're trying to just survive. Therefore, we created this habit, this informal habit of running things. We learned architecture through struggle. We learned practice through survival. And over time, that survival habit became our norm. We mix personal and company money. We pay for site expenses from our own account. We receive professional fees into personal accounts as well. We don't document every purchase we make. We throw away receipts as safe as we're allergic to paper. We rely on memory instead of systems. Mind you, this is not just you. For me, for most people I know, we fall into this shoe. So having gone through this tax system, I realized the need to make a change because the tax regime in itself, yes, it's being stricter. However, all the laws put in place are laws that already kind of exist, if you know what I mean, but have been fine-tuned and it's going to take effect, meaning it is going to be enforced in this case. And for a very long time, the system tolerated all of our nonsenses, all our nonchalantness, all of our, no bookkeeping, nothing. But from January 1st, that tolerance ends based on the projection we have seen. The new tax regime is not interested in your intentions, whether they are good or not. It is simply interested in your systems. And that is why this episode matters a lot. Because tax reforms doesn't just check your numbers, it exposes how you think about your practice. So we'll look at the real problem and how architects are too entangled with their practices. This is very uncomfortable, I know that, but it is real. It is what is currently on ground and we need to deal with it. Many architects, they are individual operating under, registered names. Some of us even under business names. We have the same bank account, same wallet. So when client pays, it goes into our personal account. Site expenses come up, you pay from your pocket. Staff salaries, I'll sort it out when the money comes in. There's no structure. Some that even have a bit of structure, once money comes in, they move it from the company account to personal account and then disperse it from there. I am guilty of this, so I know what I am saying. And I know a couple of people who fall in that category as well. So what this creates for us is all this habit I've discussed. It doesn't create a business. It creates emotional labor that is disguised as entrepreneurship. And this is one of the reasons why many architects feel constantly stressed. You don't know what belongs to you. You don't know what belongs to the firm. There's no clear boundary. You don't know if you are profitable or you are just busy. You don't know if you are growing or you are just surviving. But under this new tax regime, this entanglement becomes very dangerous because the system does not see you, it sees an entity. And entities must behave like entities. So as you make the New Year resolution, as you prepare for 2026, we start with one painful but powerful mind shift. You are not your company. You work for your company, but you are not your company. And until you internalize this, no tax planning, no 2026 planning will work for you as a firm. You need to keep this in mind. So, keeping it in mind, we start from separating yourself from the business. I'll take this slowly and break it down and make it practical. Separation does not mean becoming big or corporate overnight. No, it means becoming clear. Your architecture firm must have its own identity. And I believe most of us already do. But for a weird reason, we just become informal in nature. We treat things, just anyhow. Your architecture firm must, as a matter of fact, have its own identity, its own bank account, its own expenses, its own records. And you, the architect, must step into a new role, not as the firm's emergency fund, but as a professional being compensated by the firm, right? You work for the firm. So what does this mean? It means if the company earns money, the company keeps it. If you need money, you pay yourself salary, drawing fees, or what have you, whatever you want to term it. If you spend personal money on behalf of the company, you don't manage it, you reimburse it properly with documentation. And this one change alone does something powerful. It reveals the truth to you. You suddenly begin to see what the firm can actually afford, what it costs the firm to run, what is profit and what is sacrifice. The tax authorities, this Tinubu regime, they don't just want compliance, they want clarity. And clarity starts with this separation, right? Another major thing that I see every day, and I believe that, side payments are silently bleeding us, because if you run an architectural firm, there's a high chance that you do projects as well. And once the client makes payment, you move it to your personal account for easy disbursement. We don't want to be going through the bureaucracy of, from the company account. That is what I know most small practices do. Yes, there are people who have stuck to the book, and I believe that these are the big names. However, most architectural firms, and I believe to say, without exaggerating, about 70% of the people I know run their firm this way. You see, site work, because this is where architects quietly lose most money. I'm going to explain it again. Every architect listening to this has done this, I'm sure of it. You're on site, something urgent comes up, transport, printing, small material, feeding artisans, something you just make up your mind to do. You pay from your pocket and you tell yourself, I will claim it later. Later rarely comes. And over time, you normalize financing the project. This habit is dangerous under the new tax regime. Why? Because undocumented expenses do not exist. They cannot be claimed, they cannot be defended, they cannot be reconciled. So the solution is not complicated, but it simply requires discipline. Site expenses must either come directly from company account or be reimbursed formally with receipts. So even when you spend that money to say you feed your people on site as a gesture of goodwill when you get there, based on how you see work is going and you want to boost morale, when you get back, you reimburse that with receipts and you file it accordingly. This is not bureaucracy, it is self-respect. Now, if the firm cannot afford its own operation, that is a business signal, not a personal burden. It shouldn't be a personal burden. So, how do I think we can fix this? It is bookkeeping. And this is a system we avoid all the time. Even myself. So, to be very direct, you cannot prepare for the new tax regime without proper bookkeeping. That is something that I found out in the course of making plans for the new year. Not we will sort it out at the end of the year. Not Excel once in a month kind of thing. Not even WhatsApp notes. Real bookkeeping. And what does that mean? It means every inflow is recorded. Every expense is categorized. Is it impressed? What is the expense on? Right? Every receipt is stored. You have monthly reconciliations. This is what was spent. This is what was made. This does not require a large firm. To be honest, it requires discipline. A small architectural practice can use simple accounting softwares, basic, work with a part-time bookkeeper if you have to, or retain an accountant monthly, which is what, in my opinion, I've decided to do. It might sound like a lot, but the truth is, it's helpful because when you are filing, it helps you to know this is where money is coming from. It might sound like a long, elaborate process, but believe me, it's going to save you a lot of headache. Good books do more than just satisfy tax authorities. They give you peace. They tell you if you can hire, if you can grow. They show you what to say yes to, especially for projects. Ignorance is expensive. Clarity leads you to profit. Very important. So, how do you build this operational framework? Many architecture firms do not fail because of talent. They fail because of improvisation. They build as they go. Yes, it's not a bad thing, but this system requires now that you have structure in place. Every client is handled differently, for example. Every proposal, you do a new thing. Every invoice, you negotiate from a place of emotion. From this 2026, improvisation will become very risky for your business. You need frameworks. How proposals are issued, how invoices are raised, how payments are tracked. Most of these things, how variations are handled. Framework don't make you rigid. You need to build a system that pulls all of these things in pipeline so that it's repeated action. Framework makes you fair to yourself and to your client. Professional firms don't argue about structure. They discuss scope most of the time. And documentation as a daily habit is one of the ways I believe will get us there faster. As a daily habit. And receipts, are boring. Believe me, I know, until you need them. From now on, I think architects must, document everything. Your site expenses, your transport, software subscriptions that you pay for, your training, your marketing, the paper, the stationaries at the office. Document all of these things. The fuel you use, for vehicle, for generator, if you have solar maintenance, basically everything, even the cleaning cost of your equipment. If it was not documented, that event never happened. And that's the honest truth. Documentation is simply saying, my memory for business, this is it. That is what documentation means. And businesses with good memory survive audits and they grow. So using the tax regime as your platform for growth, it's actually to advantage. From what I have seen, I believe that with this new tax regime, if we are more disciplined, it doesn't mean we'll pay more tax, to be honest, because if you listen to everything I have said, you will find out that most firms fall below the 100 million benchmark, which is stipulated in the tax law. And by the time you break down all these things I have said, you will notice that somehow what you end up making, by the time you are very consistent, you will be paying little or no tax, to be honest. If you have had a very good year and you have executed projects, what you got as payment for yourself, you realize that these things are actually to your benefits. Here's the part many people will miss. And I know that I will have a lot of explanation to do, but you may have to listen to this episode again to get the drift. The new tax regime will separate serious firms from the ones that are surviving. Architects will keep clean books, separate personal and business finances, build operational systems. We'll certainly find out that they understand their numbers, they actually position themselves to attract better clients, They negotiate with confidence, knowing fully well that this is where my firm is. People, they sleep better. And one thing you need to know, this new regime rewards clarity. Very, very key. And that is the mindset shift, the mindset reset that we need to have as we go into the new year. This episode is not about fear. It is about maturity. How architecture firms in Nigeria can move from hustle to structure, from survival to overflow, and by creating systems. That is a good thing for those who prepare themselves. To not make this episode too long, basically look at the tax laws that have been signed into law. Look at it. You cannot say on this one that you want to sit on the sideline. No, this affects your pocket directly. Take a look at it. How can you better your practice? How can you better yourself as an individual? That is one question I believe I want to leave you with. How can you better your firm? How can you be more disciplined to utilize this tax law to your advantage? I will end with this. The new tax regime is not your enemy, and the best way to do that is to examine it, like I have said. Take a look at it. You will realize that most of the propaganda on the internet is all nonsense. It's all huff and puff, if you ask me. It's all full of, for so many reasons. After going through them, I started realizing, and I had conversation with my lawyers. We have discussion groups to make us understand that this tax regime, yes, it may look like it's harsh, but if you look at it deep down, it actually helps you to grow if you see it that way. So the new tax regime is not your enemy. Your lack of structure is the problem. You need to now separate yourself from your firm. You need to build systems and you need to document every single thing. 2026 belongs to architects who run real businesses. And I believe your business matters and your business will grow if you have structures in place. Right? You have been listening to the SILL Talks Podcast, guys. As usual, my name is Egbeiyon Leonard, and this episode has been awesome to research, to talk about, to discuss it. Oh, I have learned a lot, even by researching, by reading about the tax law, by examining all the clauses. My mind has opened up to a new level, and I'm prepared to push SILL Designs, Render Like a Pro, Rhodium projects, even the SILL Talks Podcast to new heights in the new year. This is me signing out, and I say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I wish you guys a more prosperous year than ever before, and I believe that with all sincerity, 2026, to be specific, belongs to those who want to make use of it. I wish you all the strength, and once again, Happy New Year. Bye.